persona. It's Jim Howick! And coming up next, you know him, you love him, caveman by name, caveman by nature, it's Mr. Lawrence Rickard! Insert a funny fanny joke here, it's Martha Howe Douglas! Last, but certainly not least, he's a poet, and boy does he know it, it's Matthew Baynton! The stars and creators of BBC's Ghosts, everybody! Welcome all of you. Goodness me, this is a heck of a crowd, and more people coming in with every second that goes on. Are you missing a microphone, Matthew? Okay, we'll be fetching that, fear not. In the meantime, checking under the sofa. He might be with the coins and other things. Don't worry, we'll fetch one for you, Matthew, it'll go. Tell you what, in the meantime, yeah, there's a prop for you. How are we doing? Welcome to MCM.
Thank you.
I'm
Really
really
having us. To be here.
Thanks for coming, guys. How are you feeling, Matt?
Feeling all right, actually. This is the biggest audience I've ever done anything in front of, and also I get to talk to all of you guys, so a mixture of excited and nervous, but we'll see how it all goes. Oh, a microphone has appeared. Round of applause for a microphone.
Thank you.
That's the best blazer I've seen in my life. I got you. Right, so now, Lawrence, this isn't the first time we've met at MCM. I had you and Ben recently at one of the other ones for a short film, and now you're back here with Ghosts. Season 5 of Ghosts has just... Who's been watching Season 5? Next question. Who hasn't had a chance to watch Season 5 yet but intends to? Fewer. We're not going to go to spoilers, so don't worry, but we will touch on some things. So how's the reception been?
They're all dead.
How's the reception been for Season 5?
Incredible. We're always slightly nervous that we're going to accidentally trip up and make something terrible, and that we don't know what the format is at all. But yeah, I mean, we put an awful lot of work into this one, knowing that it would be the last, and the reception's been amazing.
It's an incredible series. I will say, I might not be alone in saying I definitely noticed the cast has changed slightly. Obviously now we no longer have Mary, Katie Wicks in it, who is one of my favourite characters, I'll be honest. But it's amazing to see what you guys have still managed to do. Was it strange coming back into a new season with one fewer of the main cast at all?
Well, we made half the series without Katie last year, so we were kind of used to it. And we sort of did that on purpose, actually, and kind of lost Mary halfway through the show so everyone else could get used to it before this series started as well. But yeah, we were sad to see her go, of course. She was a really important dynamic.
She's not dead, really.
She's still alive. But yeah, Mary was a really important dynamic, I think, for the show.
We got to see sort of on-screen mourning of that for a couple of episodes as well, which I thought was also a really nice touch. So we've seen you all grieve the process of dead people dying again. So that's always nice. Now, there's a reason we're here beyond Season 5, which is very exciting. 4 episodes, I believe, have been broadcast, but all of it's broadcast. Does anyone still watch terrestrial telly? Oh, there was oh, really?
There's 5 of us.
Oh, sorry,
Thank
Larry.
you.
Okay. So, obviously, we're here to talk about something very specific. The Button House Archives. Have you all bought it? Now, if you haven't had a chance to buy this, it is actually available at the Forbidden Planet stall. So make sure you guys go and do that.
Sold out.
They've sold out. Oh, we hate to hear that.
It's sold out.
I didn't 5 copies.
Sorry, yeah, most of them, that was all me. I've got a big stack in the backstage. I made a bed out of it. So, talk to us a little bit about this, because you guys are also going to be signing this in the author after this bit, in the author signing area. So, I'm sure a lot of you have already got tickets for that. They're a committed fan base, guys, but talk to us a bit about this. What was the inspiration behind making this, outside of the fact that obviously you have really interesting characters that you wanted to flesh out and explore on paper?
It's something we talked about several years ago, I think. There was sort of certain things that felt like they couldn't go in the show, but they would be fun in another format. And the idea of sort of I think we'd all watched things like Who Do You Think You Are, where you're researching family history and you find some old newspaper article that mentions your grandfather or something, some passing little thing. And that idea of having these old documents that refer to the lives of all these ghosts, we really liked. But then we were too busy writing the show to write the book. And then we suddenly realised last year, if we're finishing the show, we need to write the book now while people still remember what any of it is about.
Yeah.
So we got busy this year?
Spring,
Summer.
yeah. Spring, summer.
And it was so fun to write and so Bloomsbury and the graphic designers, we're so proud of it. It really looks great and yeah.
You rarely get to do something like that. You know, you kind of get used to the nature of film and TV tends to be quite a lot of compromise because it has to be, you know, practicalities come into play and suddenly you go, that's not quite how we saw it when we first thought of it, but you find a version that works. And I think it's, you know, having never done a book together before, to sort of find something where you can look at it and go, yeah, that's what we wanted to do. And there it is, a physical thing. It's been a really rewarding process.
Yeah, I mean, just to add, it became sort of apparent quite early on that flashbacks in the show were a really popular part of the show and something that we at the same time wanted to sort of tread very lightly with because we wanted also the sitcom to be about the present stories. So this was a good opportunity to exercise, I think, all of our ideas that we had for flashbacks and little moments that perhaps we couldn't sort of shoehorn into the time of the sitcom itself. And actually writing the book wasn't too far away from how we write the show itself.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about that because obviously, like you mentioned, you already do a really wonderful job of fleshing out the characters in their flashbacks or the stories that they tell throughout the show. But at the same time, there's some things that maybe you don't get to put in it. Does that come down to the actor who's doing it? Is it a group effort with all of you sitting and writing it? So, for instance, when you have a page written by the captain, is that going to be coming mostly from Ben, or is that going to be the sort of thing where all of you sit around and go, well, the captain would probably think this, and I believe he feels this, and it becomes collaborative?
It's a combination. Julian, for example, Simon will promise to write about 10 things, and then you get 3. And so you go, right, we'll write up the other 7, don't worry. How's everything going in Hollywood? And then he's like, I've got to go. And the phone goes down. So no, it's a mixture. Most of it, the initial ideas came from each of us about our characters, and then some of it got fleshed out by other people, and sometimes someone else would go, I've had this thought actually, which would be perfect for, you know, Pat or the captain or whoever. But I think predominantly...
Yeah, in your situation, I think because your characters were sort of early man and, again, another one of the earliest ghosts in sort of chronological terms, it was hard to sort of find sort of relics from that time. Obviously, Robin was virtually impossible. So in that situation, I think you, Larry, sort of took over a lot of other characters than perhaps me.
And it was really nice. I got to sort of put on, in a past life, I did graphic design, and so I got to there were bits and pieces where they were like, I don't think we're going to, it's a nice idea, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that because it would bankrupt us to pay. I mean, we can't pay someone to sit there and meticulously in Illustrator and make a cross stitch. It would take them 7 days, and I'm like, I'll do it.
Cue Larry.
So there's bits and pieces in there where I got to sort of stretch my old, now slightly outdated Photoshop skills, and it's been really good fun, you know.
Well, it's come together amazingly, and we're going to talk about the book a little more. On that note, Matthew, I'm going to turn to you at this point. Now, backstage, I informed you about a little task that I'm going to set you, and none of you know this yet, but obviously, Thomas, a poet, I've tasked Matthew with writing a poem about why you should buy this book. Matthew, would you like a pen and paper?
I have 10 minutes ago, I might have. 10
Here
minutes.
is a pen.
Oh, dear.
I shall give you one of my MCM cards that you can write on. There you go. We'll be coming to you at the end. Also, a little bit of information for those of you who want to understand the structure of this. Fear not, We will be coming to all of you to make sure that you guys get your chance to queue up and ask questions. We're going to be prioritizing a lot of that. You will notice there are 2 microphones over there. When the time comes, we'll call you, and please move down there gently, slowly, carefully with other people as well. But also, the cast are going to be helping me with a little competition. Give us a cheer if you are a cosplayer in Ghosts right now. Every single one of... There's a head.
There's a head.
There's a Humphrey's head.
Humphrey's head.
That's amazing.
Good. Great. That was terrifying, by the way.
Winner!
Suddenly being held aloft.
Oh, hang on, there's a Scottish flag as well.
I love
Oh, for Thomas.
Over Thomas.
So basically, when the time comes, we're going to have all of you stand up. The house lights are going to go up like they are right now. And then the cast are going to decide whom has the best cosplay. And then whoever wins gets to come up on stage and take a quick selfie with the cast and this massive audience. Isn't that exciting? This is good. You guys are enthusiastic. I like it. Now we're filling up all the way to the back as well. Goodness me. Very nice. Now, I can see you're already scribbling away, Matthew. You've already had some ideas? Good. You might hear that later on. So let's talk a bit more about this book, because it's quite interesting that you've... Obviously, Matthew just mentioned Who Do You Think You Are? Because you actually wrote about this, Jim, in Broadcast. You mentioned that it was inspired slightly by Danny Dyer, because he had a Who Do You Think You Are, where he found out he was related to Edward III. And this was all part of the initial process. You guys were still umming and erring about whether...
I think that's, yeah. When we were talking about how Alison would react to finding out that an ancestor of...
Well, then Bamba Gascoigne as
yes,
well.
that's absolutely, yeah.
But people find out that they've got sort of royalty in their
Yes.
heritage. And then they're like, well, I'm basically the king then.
Who was he related to again?
King
Edward III.
Yeah. When he revealed it at the end of the show, though, he started with the king and then went, and look, hang on, it's me. Like, who else could it have been? The show was about you, mate.
The other way around, Danny.
Yeah, you did it the wrong way round. Look, there's Edward the First, look. And there's me.
Bloody hell.
Legend.
But now it's all come full circle, because obviously there was, from what I've seen and from the research I've done, I don't just throw these panels together, from the research I've done, you guys were sort of umming and erring about doing a haunted house style thing that you wanted to do, but the quote I've got is that you couldn't find the jeopardy in it for a while. So do you want to talk to us a bit about what that means to people who maybe don't understand how writing sort of works?
Well, I think, normally in stories to a degree, you're looking for something bad to happen that then you engineer a way of getting your characters out of. And, you'll always get an exec telling you about stakes. I like it and it's funny and it's brilliant, but where are the stakes? And it's difficult with ghosts because normally stakes are things like these people need some money or these people are fearing for their life and all stuff that just ghosts it doesn't work with. And so we loved the idea and we kept finding jokes in it, and for ages we couldn't work out how you put jeopardy and stakes into it. And then it was finding the idea of living people who sort of became a proxy for the jeopardy and the stakes, and then that second level where one can see them and the other one can't. That was sort of the tent poles around which you then go, oh, actually, as a structure, that all works. Because the ghost side of it is sort of, most of their stakes are about really tiny, boring things.
Yeah, they're sort of minute, and the joy we get out of them is creating sort of melodrama based on these minute stakes. So, for example, in this ep, have we got to this ep yet? Where in fact, it's just been on ep 4, where they run out of things to do, or they worry that they're going to be running out of things to do. It's like someone running out of food in the desert or water in the desert. That's how we sort of have to apply the ghosts to the stakes that we are able to have, which aren't, as Larry said, just typical sitcom stakes.